All right, now we're doing reflections, and I really don't want to waste your time with this video, but you already know I do appreciate Call Me Ken folks' videos and just the breakdowns as well with his form of gematria. And there's many different ways that you can do it and implement it into the simulation in these characters or these inverted beings who are playing as deception. And we're just basically going to talk about how Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua are basically both grown-ass women who are willing to sacrifice each other or their loved ones just for money, fame, fortune, and all the things that are basically going to make you corrupt because you're getting more money just by being in a corrupted industry that gets you what you've been desiring. And prosperous rising, celestial afternoon, and successful nights, any mirage watching this mindful message. It's your divine reflection, divine observation, and we are back with another message. Let's get right into it.
Now, today, we're going to talk about heavyweight boxer Anthony Joshua. Now, it came out yesterday, man. Now, we seen that fight, man, about 10, 11 days ago, right? And we just see an interesting trickle of events, man, in these athletes' career, man, right when they're at the height. And then we see them always lose somebody around them right at the height of their career, right? So without further ado, man, we're going to look right into this situation.
And most of you already know, but this is because for the ones who are new here, this is because the moment you get to the pinnacle of awareness or the highest one of alchemy, that is when the beings that are handling your career, they're going to watch you suffer. They're going to watch you destroy yourself in the process by the tools that they give you. If they're giving you all the attention that you want, that comes with a cost. If you want your name to be buzzing around the streets or around the media, around social media, in movies, in interviews, TV shows, whatever, if you want your name to be out there constantly where people can, every time people wake up, they notice you, somebody has to get rid of or get rid somebody has to be getting rid of. Somebody has to get out of their life. That didn't make any sense to me. Like somebody has to be getting rid of. I don't like that part. But no, but somebody has to basically go bye-bye because these beings know that whoever you hold dearest to you or closest to you, the person that you may have grown up with, the person that you have made the most successful memories with, the one that was always there with you by your side, that person may end up having to go. When that sacrifice happens, it's not going to be because of you wanting to do so. Now, if you want to do so, then you'll get even more success. But if you don't know what's going to happen and they take somebody from you that you love and you didn't think as if it would happen to this person that you knew, then this is when they know, like, okay, we hit a nerve, we hit a certain trigger point, and this person was very close to you. So now we're going to get even closer to you because you're weakened. The more that they can weaken these inverted beings, the more that the people who look up to them will feel weakened as well. And if a weakened communiverse of collective consciousness is looking up to weakened idols or idol worship, then collectively is society strong mentally or just weakened by even accepting Masonic puppetry? This is exactly why when anybody who asks me what will happen, they want to be a boxer or any sports character. If you want to be very successful in anything, that comes with a price, a cost. And it can cost you your life, someone else's life, either way it goes. You cannot tell anybody what's going on or else. This is why wanting to be worshipped in this realm does nothing for you, but keep you stuck in a trap simulation of false enlightenment. Wanting to be adored, wanting to be appreciated, wanting to be validated in this dimension only boosts your ego. Spiritually, why the fuck would you want more attention from yourself, your lower self on top of that? How can that satisfy a spiritual being? It doesn't. That's why beings who are traumatized sexually, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, in their flesh, their biggest desire is to get healing from what they always wanted, more attention, more love. And they think love is outside of them. That's why they won something. You didn't win shit. You still lost. You lost to an oppressor who's giving you the money that you think you deserve. Humans don't deserve money, so why do we crave it when it does nothing for us spiritually?
And we're going to see what's going on. Now,
My
back
fault.
on December 19th, Anthony Joshua defeated Jake Paul by a 6-round knockout, right? The former heavyweight champion overwhelmed Jake Paul with power and experience, earning a 6-round KO in their highly anticipated Netflix main event in Miami. So first, let's look into this fight, man, and let's
6, 6. I think he said something else too. 6 round. All right.
See why Jake Paul
Oh, realistically, 666. So duality finding itself. And also Jake Paul is she's just working with, covenant racists. And these beings are because for one, she went off a script. And I'm saying she out of respect because these are still grown ass women playing as men. And that's really how odd it is to even notice that shit. But with growth hormones and getting these installations in your program, she's basically portrayed as this influencer who became an actor that's willing to make this shadow society more wealthy because of stupidity. Look at all the drones with their phones out watching their submission fight in submission. Like they want to fight a system, they want to fight for change, but they rather sit here and watch somebody else get their face rearranged. And the thing is, this being always wants to win, especially against carbonated people, because that's an ego boost. And two, you can push more racism across humanity. Oh, well, Jay Paul's beating carbon or black people. So if that's the case, that means I can say nigga, that means I can do the same shit. I can whoop their ass. So now we're just gonna still have more division in the ring. I mean, these same cycles keep happening, and people are expecting a God to come and save them. No, look at what people are watching. People are watching Luciferianism and light.
met his demise, and it really wasn't even worth no money. If he was a betting man that night, Anthony Joshua was a heavy favorite that night, unless you was to bet on the round or something, or bet on the knockout. I don't know what the case would be. But let's look at it, man. Because if we look at the span of Anthony, Olawafemi, Alasani, Joshua, right? Now, regardless if I said that right, I'm gonna make it seem like I know how to say it right. But anyway, if we look at the span of his life, it was 1,887 weeks at the time of this fight.
Hey, peep the symbolism. Look at how look at that. Look at how they're looking down and look at the oppressors. Just look at him laughing. Look at her, disappointed. Look at him. Actually, they don't even give a fuck. They're just there to get paid. Like none of these people care for real. Especially this person right here. They just want to get close so that they can get more validation from the people that follow this person on social media. Like it's all a gambling pyramid scheme.
Right. The time that he knocked out Jake Paul. Right now we have one, we have two eights, and we have seven, man. Now, in other words, we have 187. When the Society of Jesus equals 187, and Brotherhood of Death equals 187 in the English language, forwards, right? And we have backwards. This is the practice of gematria. This is what these entertainment, sports, movies, the entertainment is what politics. It's all done by numerology and gematria. And this is what's going on, man. They're scripting out these fights. They're scripting out games. They're scripting out school shootings. You name it, man. Anything that's going on in mainstream media, right? It's being done by the numbers. Now, Society of Jesus, man, 187, man. Now, it was another athlete that was surrounded around these same numbers that we just talked about, right? But 187 is a slang reference to murder as well, right? In section 187 of the Penal Code, which defines the crime of murder, right? And we so happen to have, right, Anthony Joshua's best friend happened to be killed in a car crash. His coach, it was two people, right? So one of them was also his best friend and his personal trainer, and then the other one was his coach. Both died in this car crash 10 days after this knockout. But we seen the code for murder already showing itself when Anthony and Jake had that fight. Now, Wemby, man, Wemby had just lost his granny. His grandmother had passed away the same day he lost the NBA Cup Finals. And look at the record of the Spurs and the Knicks in the NBA Cup Championship. And mind you, these records did not change after the championship game because that game is the only game in the NBA Cup that does not affect team records. So after this championship, their records were still 18-7. In other words, 187, Brotherhood of Death. And then Wemby, grandmother, dies. Same thing Anthony Joshua. This time, he just wins. So it really don't matter in this game. Whether you win, a sacrifice gonna come, whether you win or whether you lose. To play this game, you gotta make.
And if somebody has a question, the thing is too, they make a sacrifice, and it's really crazy because like the thing is, it sounds psychotic because I know somebody be like, bro, there's no way that they're actually doing this shit. If you don't know Freemasonry, then this shit will literally sound like Mandarin to you. But you really have to sit and dissect what your family also has been doing to you. If you get to know your family, and if your family is a part of the occult, you'll start asking questions. And from experience, do not go into Freemasonry. For one, why would awareness go into an occultic group to find itself? Why? What do you, if you are an all-knowing presence without a physical body, why would you go into a secret society to find yourself again? Like, come on, bro. Like, if you really think about this shit, bro, these people are idiots. That's why they are everywhere. That's why they govern society, because people give them praise and worship and faith. That's why religion became a medium. These people are using Satan as a scapegoat and blaming God for the things that humans do. And this is what humans praise. Humans praise Satan. And Satan comes in many forms. This is exactly why people are giving their money and their attention to beings who don't give a fuck about them.
The sacrifice. Because although Wemby lost that game, Wemby is going to go on to be one of the GOATs, man.
This is true. In the future, in your lifespan, you are going to see a Nephilim, a terrestrial deity, on a basketball court in the pits of hell. She's going to be dominating. And the thing is, I mean, I'm going to predict it. You're going to see some crazy ass highlights that make you say, this is not a human being on the basketball court. And the thing is, it's not. And you will see a lot more hybrids doing the same shit. And it's gonna be even crazier. You're gonna see some people who are just probably just gonna sit on the half court line and just start pulling it. And it's gonna go in every single time, damn near. It's gonna be like people are gonna be fighting for more accuracy. And then when they enhance the magnets in the basketballs, it's like gonna be like Curry all over again. But with this time, you're gonna have 7 footers playing like Curry and dunking like 7 footers. But they're gonna be dunking like they're just mobile, like gazelles. Like it's just like they're cheating the game and they're mocking it because they're getting paid. So these people know, like, no matter what, even if they lose this cup or the NBA finals, everybody's getting paid because they're all in on the secret. For one, no balls association. So these people are getting fucked to remain famous. That's why they don't really care what society thinks. They're rich.
As we can see how his
But that's their demise. That's their damnation. That's why they will always remain in hell, wanting to be praised because they want to change history. Nigga, fuck history.
career is panning out. So this little NBA Cup loss, what is the NBA Cup? Yeah, middle of the season championship. Who cares about it? You see what I'm saying? Who cares about that anyway?
Yeah.
Right? That's not even saying much. Yeah, man, these sacrifices got to happen, man. These rituals, they got to go through. This ain't got nothing to do with Anthony Joshua not following no script. This was a script all along. Come on. Right? Because we see the same connections with Wemby the day he lost his grandmother.
The thing is, too, Anthony Joshua, it was going to happen anyway. So by you seeing that when people famous go through deaths and all that, now for one, death is inevitable, so you won't realistically know. But these people can alter your perception of death. That's why they don't feel sorry for the people that died because it was going to happen anyways. Like these people are planted into societies with secrets. That's why when you see them, you like, bro, you think as if these people can reflect as God. And this is why people adore them. This is why people idolize them. But realistically, Lucifer comes in so many different facets of the human construct that people fantasize about what they want to be one day. But you can't be these beings unless you bend over another way and then you change your ways mentally. And when you change your ways mentally, and all of a sudden you start becoming somebody else's fantasy. And then it's a sick cycle of manipulation. The only thing is they're grooming you with money. So who really wins? The athletes or the people who are handling the athletes, their lifestyle? You pick and choose what you watch. If you want to watch Joanna Man in different forms, that's fine. The only difference is you're supporting pedophilia, gambling, you're supporting human trafficking, child trafficking, I mean, killing in general, like lying. I mean, you're supporting deception. Then we all have our vices of deception, but my thing is if you're not conscious of what's going on, yeah, you will come back because you can't even recognize what's really going on. Like they're showing you a mimicry. That's why people are two-faced in their hypocrisies.
And in his life, we got them same numbers, 187. Pay attention to that. We looking at the span of these people's lives, the day that these things happen to happen. And we getting the same numbers, man, 187. It just scrambled up. Same numbers, though, same energy. The numbers themselves have the same energy, regardless of what order you put them in. Right? Because we even have 8,017 days old that Wemby was the day that he lost in the championship and the day that he lost his grandmother. Brotherhood of death equals 817 in the satanic cipher and numerology rules. Zeros have no value. Well, come on, man. I'm just using him as a reference point, man. The next same day, he's sitting at the press conference. Got to sit here and boo. You know what? Let me not do too much. The same day that his grandmother, you know, the same day he's sitting here fighting back tears, right? Sitting here fighting back tears. Back to Anthony Joshua, 187, right? The Brotherhood of Death. Jake Paul out of surgery, eating liquids for 7 days. Pay attention to all these numbers. We're going to circle back on them. After Anthony Joshua broke his jaw. Now, the span of Joseph Paul's life, pay attention to these names too, biblical names. Jake Joseph Paul was 347 months old at the time of this fight. The Brotherhood of Death equals 347. The Brotherhood of Death is another name for skull and bones. So that's why in this skull and bones ritual, Jake Paul got his jawbone broken on his skull, right? You following me now? Now we seeing how these skull and bones rituals is really going on. Brotherhood of Death and Jake Paul.
If you think about Skull and Bones, holy shit, I just thought about something too with Skull and Bones. If you understand too why genetic altering happened, these are another form of shadow societies who have a hand in why majority of people are sexually inverted because these people are perverted. Like somebody will sit up and think as if, well, this person has a beard, they look like a man. Yeah, you don't know what a man looks like. And that's why they're going to show you what a man's supposed to be. But when you do the numbers, whoa, somebody's lying. But who could that be? Who's the person pulling the strings to make you think as if these people are really going through what they're going through? That's a part of movies, theatrics. These people are acting and they're getting paid to professionally lie to your awareness. That's why people come right back to the simulation. I refuse.
Was the victim, right, for this ritual. He even showed you in his last fight when he walked out fighting Mike Tyson that every time he fight, it's a skull and bones ritual. Look at the skull and bones on the back of his jacket. But this time, Skull and Bones defeated and they won and they beat Mike Tyson right before Donald Trump got in office. Y'all remember that?
So basically, Skull and Bones going against like the Boule or any Freemasonic group, depending on what lodge Mike Tyson is in or Jake Paul, but duality going against itself. So who really has the upper hand in the war?
It was either right before or right after, right? But you see that Skull and Bones right on his jacket, showing you the Skull and Bones rituals that he's going through. Both of these people are involved in this Skull and Bones ritual. Nobody's exempt, right? Because 4 weeks and 1 day before Jake Paul's birthday, he goes down, breaks his jaw, breaks the bone in his jaw, in his skull. Skull and Bones equals 41, right? Then fast forward, Anthony Joshua on 12/29, on December 29th, which is 41-day numerology. He loses 2 people very close to him, his coach and his personal trainer, on 41-day numerology, 41 weeks before his next birthday. Skull and Bones. So we see he broke his jaw. So now who got it worse? I say Anthony Joshua really got it worse. And this is the humiliation of the game. Jake Paul only had to lose a fight. Jake Paul only had to lose a fight and broke his jaw, but he gonna be good, his jaw gonna be good. You gotta eat liquids for 7 days. 7, the number of completion. It's a whole Jesuit ritual that they put in front of you. Jake Paul just had to lose a fight and get his jaw broke. Anthony Joshua had to be in a car crash with 2 people and it looked like they put him in the car. It didn't even look like he was in their car when the car crashed. It like that.
And the thing is, once again, goes back to covenant racism. So when it goes back to Jake Paul, you only get your jaw broken. But when it comes to Anthony Joshua, what happens? People end up getting sacrificed. Because also when it comes to our people, we're still just niggas to them.
Car crash and then they put him in that car. You seen him in there just sitting there, unscathed, unbothered with his shirt off? It just looked like a whole little play. Everything they do just like a production. Everything's a character. They always got to stay in character. You know, he's this big boxer, this big heavyweight boxer. So yeah, he got to be in the car with his shirt off. You see what I'm saying? It just looks so, everything just looks too strategic. You see what I'm saying? They probably put Cuz in that car afterwards. But come on. Right? Because this car crash even happened on the 76th day of Anthony Joshua's age. Like Skull and Bones equals 76. Yeah, 6'7", they're going to 6'7" whole time, all this time. The fight was also on 76-day numerology. Skull and Bones, 76. Skull and Bones, aka the Brotherhood of Death. This is what Jake Paul was the one that experienced. Well, they both experienced the Brotherhood, but on this day, December 19th, that's when Jake Paul's Skull and Bones numbers hit, and that's why he was the one that lost that night. 11 months and 2 days after his birthday, the Brotherhood of Death equal 112, aka Skull and Bones. Then he break his jaw. Now, let's talk about, since we're speaking about the Brotherhood of Death, let's just talk about death for a second, right? Because the death of Anthony Joshua's coach and personal trainer was on the 1st week and the 4th day of that fight, when the word dead equals 14 in the ordinal cipher, D being the 4th letter of the alphabet, so on and so forth, E being the 5th, A being the 1st. Add that up, 14. Now in Cantonese, 14 sounds just like must die. In Mandarin, 14 sounds like is dead or want death. 14 is phonetically close to must die. So the way that you say 14 in Cantonese sounds very similar to must die. So that's why in Jake Paul's 14th fight of his career, he broke his jaw. Paul equals 14. Paul must die in this fight. It was symbolic. It was symbolic. Paul, 14, dead, 14 in his 14th match. Then on the first week and the fourth day of that, Anthony Joshua's coach and personal trainer are dead. But come on, man. Come on. Because Anthony Joshua won this fight and remained on 4 losses in his career. In Mandarin, Cantonese, Japanese, and Korean, the word 4 sounds very close to the word for death. So we keep on getting this number 4, man. It's number 4 and it's number 14 linked to death. And then we seen the reflection of 1441, skull and bones. It's all linked together, man. It's all linked together, man. I know you see that 33 right there. So let's just go ahead and get into it then, right? Because once again, man, the span of Anthony Joshua's life was 187 basically, right? 1,887 weeks, 187. Society of Jesus equals 187. So let's get to this Jesuit ritual. Let's get to it. Society of Jesus. Anthony Joshua's next birthday is on the 9th month and 27th day of this fight, which was a tribute to, once again, the Jesuit order, whose anniversary is on the 9th month and the 27th day, September 27th. That was Anthony Joshua's 33rd fight. It was his 33rd fight that he won. His 33rd fight. Then he even go on Instagram to shout out to the 33 million viewers that the fight brought in. Man, come on, man. We are all one under God's eyes. 33 million, right?
We are all one under Satan's eyes. Satan bless Rastafari.
Then Anthony Joshua wins his 33rd fight. That was also his 29th win. He got his 29th win in his 33rd fight, when Masonic equals 29 and Masonry equals 33, continuing the Jesuit ritual with the Jesuit story of Jesus dying at the age of 33, right? Masonic equals 29. Jesus equals 29. Anthony's last name is Joshua. It's a very biblical name. Joshua equals 29 as well in the same cipher. Joshua in the Bible was Moses' trusted aide who succeeded him as leader, guiding the Israelites after the Exodus into the promised land through military conquest and faithful obedience to God, known for his courage and leadership in battles like Jericho and his role in dividing the land among the tribes. His story is central to the book of Joshua, highlighting his transformation from an Egyptian-born slave to a revered general and spiritual successor to Moses, symbolizing God's salvation. And that was his 33rd fight. And then here he go telling you 33 million and telling you this is, we are.
The thing is, if he was leading anybody, all he did was lead people right back into their own enslavement. So there are no leaders.
All under God's eyes.
If there were leaders, why are they still here? And the leaders that were supposedly knocked off, they're lying to you because they're also following death in secret.
Yeshua. This is why they script these fights together. They're symbolic. They're telling you a story. These fights are symbolic. Now let's talk about Jacob, Joseph, Paul. He has 3 biblical names, right? Paul was the missionary that was spreading the gospel to the Roman Empire, to the Holy Roman Empire, aka the Jesuits. Joseph was Jacob's son. Jacob,
Roman Empire, skull and bones, Freemasonry, Luciferianism.
was renamed Israel by God after wrestling with the divine being, signifying his struggle and perseverance with God and man, with the name meaning one who strives with God or God fights. Although he was renamed Israel, the Bible continues to use both names, with some interpreting Jacob as his earthly trickster self and Israel as his spiritual transformed self, representing his new relationship with God. So Jacob was renamed Israel due to struggling, fighting a divine being. His struggle, fighting a divine being in his 33rd fight. Jeshua, Jacob going against Jeshua. This is biblical, symbolized, and that defeat. Look what the defeat symbolized, leading the Israelites.
So it's like Lucifer going against Jesus Christ, or Yeshua going against Jesus Christ, or abstract colors going against abstract colors, the ego going against the spirit, or anti frequencies going against frequencies. It's like, this is all the same thing. It's all about God versus Satan.
To the promised land. Look at this whole picture. Look at this whole picture. Look at this whole scenario. Look at the people fighting. Look at them. Look at how they look. Look at the story. Look at the names. Right? Look at everything that's going on. Look at this whole picture and see what they're painting to you.
And the thing is, if these are Bible verses and you believe in these stories, you believe in Freemasonry. This is exactly why many people cannot fathom what the Bible is. You're not meant to read that stupid shit. It's not meant for you.
Right? Because the book of Joshua is the 6th book in the Hebrew Bible. when Anthony Joshua defeats Jake Paul by the sixth round. Come on, man. Come on. Right? Because Joshua even improves to 29-4. And then Jake Paul, see, they even Joshua improves to 29-4, while Paul falls to 12-2. Anthony Olaseni Joshua equals 294 in the English language backwards. His numbers perfectly aligned. He improved to 29-4, just like his name. And then you see who they're tributing in these fights. You see it for yourself. Paul, and he was the one. Paul in the Bible was the one that was spreading Jesus' ministry through Rome, aka.
So realistically, right now, if they're mimicking Bible characters, then we are still stuck in the past right now. Like in ancient Jerusalem time periods or Israel, like in these states of consciousness, we're literally watching what is being remotely viewed in the past, and humanity is stuck in the past, watching it, thinking that it's a part of the future. That's why currently people are going through enslavement, and they still can't seem to figure out what the problem is, but it's really just what you put your attention to.
The Society of Jesus. When Ais, and he falls to 12-2 when Isis Hominum Salvator equals 122, which is another, is Latin for Jesus, Savior of mankind, which is that's the IHS. That's where the Jesuit order gets the IHS from in their logo. This is a whole Jesuit ritual, man. There's a whole Jesuit ritual. And then you see the other societies that get tributed as well. Society of Jesus, Skull and Bones, and Freemasonry with that 33rd win, with that 33rd fight. But come on, man. Because everything, and then this is a little piece of Jake Paul's humiliation, right? Is because he has to make this his profile picture of him getting knocked out by Jeshua, symbolizing his struggle with God, just like Jacob in scripture, right? And he even has 28.8 million followers, just like how Anthony Joshua was born on the 288th day of the year. Even October 15th, AJ's birthday, leaves 77 days left. And that's the person who he ended up fighting, Jake Paul, 77. The ritual is complete. God's number for perfection, 7. And then he takes on Jake Paul, defeats him, right? God's number for perfection, 7-7. And that was his 33rd match. You see what's going on. You see G, Masonic. G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. That's why the Masons put that G in the Masonic. And then look at this. The black man beating up the white man, brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? But come on, man. That's all we got for this video, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video, man. Appreciate y'all for all the love.
That was a great video. All right. Let's get into it, man. So I just want to go ahead and get through this. All right, so as we can see, and how you know, because look at the clavicle right here, look at the philtrum, and then look at the egg-shaped head right here, the egg-shaped part right here, and then it goes down like that. So as we can see, like the head should be like that. Female like this, V shape for that clavicle, and then straight clavicle for a man, and then V shaped clavicle, female. As we can see right here. So that's why that would be considered that. So these people are genetically altered at birth, and they just look like they're basically clowns in a circus. So as we can see, and that's why they align, because we got the triangle right here, and then this triangle does not fit, so therefore can't be a male. And then the chin is positioned correctly as well, where the chin is, and the teeth align, then the nostrils. So that makes sense. As we can see with this car crash, nothing but a mimicry. As we can see, so letting you know that it's inverted. So meaning that these are chicks with dicks. And as we have this, you can say hand symbolism or hand mudra, but letting you know that as above, so below. So consciously, she brings her life downstairs into her lower self because she cannot think clearly. She's under mind control. Got the symbolism for 33 million, 33 fights, 33, masonry, of course, 32, prize money, 33. Because hips don't lie, female Q angle, Jake Paul, so we can see right here. And then Joshua. lines up right here as far as the skull. As long as you are secretly sex changed, you can be a success. As long as you have discipline, you can be a success. All right. Now here is my script right here. Who is Anthony Joshua? So we got 245-1470-490-245-83 and 101. And as we can see, change masculine to feminine. As we can see, many men out here are not fully in their masculinity because a lot of them have been raised by the feminine, but a lot of them have been conditioned to be comfortable in the feminine and they don't ever want to realize how to remain masculine to help satisfy their bloodline or their way of living or even just their spirit. This is exactly why these people are using spirituality as lies. This is exactly why history is bullshit. And law, polarity, and gender, we got that right here. So law of polarity says that all things exist in a state of balance between two opposites. This means that everything perceivable in the universe has an opposite. So realistically, if God was to have an image, would it be black? Would it be white? What's the difference? There is none. So if you see God in two differences, that's what the mirroring would be in Luciferianism. That's why what down here, this is basically our mind crossing into what we think we're seeing. That's why we can't see majority of our life. That's why they put scientists in position for a reason. Or the Greys. Secret society of pagans. I mean, we already understand that. Time casts a spell on you. I already mentioned that, how watching these certain sports events and whatnot is us watching the past. So it's like we're in a Roman Colosseum and we're looking at inverted beings or abominations in their eyes, sacrifices getting thrown to the people that want freedom, and they'll do anything as far as killing one another to get this freedom. All right, Egyptian slave descendant. And I mean, as we can see, we are still replicas of Egyptians and the Mayans, the Aztecs. We're reflections of everything. So these beings were even doing this in Egypt as well. As we can see, they're still showing us the lies that we love to watch. Because back then, if you're in Jerusalem or in a Middle Eastern time period, you don't have video games. You don't got a phone to scroll on. You didn't have social media. You weren't watching TV all day. You didn't have movies. You didn't have a tablet. You didn't have a computer. So what would you do? You would play. You would think. You would hunt. You may go write somewhere, put something in stone, may go talk to people, get to work, or you'll go to the Coliseum. So never think as if like sporting events, for example, are just some new profound thing. No. Before 2026 became a timeline, these niggas been doing this shit. Like go beyond the Bible. Stop reading physical illusions. Like nigga, think without words, and then you'll understand that there is truth into what they constantly are seeing through optical illusions called a sun and the moon. My fault. Hollywood predators. And my thing is too, it's really weird to idolize AI pretending to be source. That's why it's just like I can't really get mad at people because if I like a beat and like a rapper or musician is doing their thing or flowing on it and I enjoy it and it's making me feel better, then I'm gonna post it. But it's not like I'm posting the actor or I'm posting the character. It's just like, bro, do you hear this frequency? This shit is beautiful. But it just so happened to be rapping on it. So it's just like fuck it. But if you're idolizing people who are in Hollywood, these planted Cabbage Patch Kids, then basically you look up to AI. No wonder people are constantly using ChatGPT. That's why many people who want to be content creators, they can't even simply do this. And when I mean do this, I'm simply meaning like just talking freely at the top of your head, just coming up with thoughts that you studied, you research, like you do your research. So if you know that everything should make sense to you because common sense does not need a book to know itself. That's why you have to know yourself outside of your senses. Beware transhumanism. As we can see, many people still are going to indulge into it, and it will never go away. If it did, then we will all transcend and go back to higher dimensions. That would be too easy for the game. That's why I think that this shit will get worse and worse, and by the time we get older, we'll ask ourselves, what happened to life? Why did it become so distorted to the point to where now, like the weirdest shit will be enabled, and people won't have any control anymore because why? People aren't spreading awareness right now. Not just that, we're in Saturn simulation, meaning that the womb of our mom or the prism, the firmament is boxed in. It's boxed in by Saturn's energy because this simulation is the one that's governing our ascension. And we wanted that to happen. But now, of course, because we wanted that, so we need to consent, obviously, because they would get way more karma. So it's just like that's why bad things don't happen to bad people, because it's like we're the reason for bad people to be what they are. And when these beings knew that this is before life, so you can't even fucking research this shit, but it's in your database or your molecular structure of cells, like signal them in higher consciousness, like really take time to put health in your body and you'll change tremendously. Now, the thing is, in this simulation of Saturn, alien, and occultism, these beings, so I noticed something about space or underneath our feet, like tunnels, underground tunnels and whatnot. There is no, you don't go in outer space above your head, and you can go outside the ice wall, but you still won't go anywhere. If you want to go into a different simulation, you go underneath the ground, and then these tunneling systems, they're enlarged to where it's so large, like a UFO or a advanced transportation unit will be able to descend as above, so below, right? So they're able to go through hell, reach heaven underneath, and go into a different simulation. But they're doing it through the oceans. So that's why they don't tell you that they discovered the ocean, but they are there, like that's their habitat, that's their territory. So the beings that are within the shadows of the ocean, they're telepathically enhanced to letting the other beings know like what's going on the surface and why they don't show themselves and whatnot. So they're beyond tapped into the future because the future deities that live underneath the waters and the shadows and the dark, they're beyond our comprehension as well. That's why they hide in secret. So we are governed by things that we can't even see. That's why principalities and dominions are the overseers of a light bulb that people call a fucking sun. And the sun is not even fucking hot. So what is hot when it's really cold outside? But if it's cold outside, how can it be hot? A wager against a rigged house. And the thing is, too, both of these are rigged systems, and many people put a wager on them. So somebody may have bet on Jake Paul, and then Anthony Joshua ends up winning, or vice versa. And it's just like the whole entire time, I don't believe in rigged experiences. I mean, it's all just by design. Like it was meant to happen. So if you don't know the numbers, you wouldn't even have gotten paid that day. In image, time is bound to see. So the thing is, too, in image, time is bound to see. So the thing is, we're not in timelines, but time is watching the lives that we create. We have created time to where we think as if we can follow it. You're not in January, but somebody told you that you were, and society agreed upon that so that they don't lose their awareness subconsciously. That's why consciously, when you transcend time, you go beyond time. There is no image that you're bound to see because you'll be seeing your lies. The evidence is irrefutable, right or wrong. And even though I lie, I still tell the truth. Excuse me, because truth will never talk. Ancient spirituality. You don't need ChatGPT to just speak common sense. Wake up to a new reality. Excuse me. So I just seen this video. I just seen the YouTube video about Call Me Kinfolk. You'll see a whole different perception. That's the whole entire confirmation. Excuse me, by the way. Insolent, evil, and demented. This is a sick program. Many people have sickened minds to even think of this shit. Metaphysical genetic human modification. Right or wrong? You think you see a guy, but the whole entire time that woman is showing you what a guy's supposed to be. Is that accurate? Because I don't, like, these are like my siblings. So it's really like, I don't, this is why you really can't fuck with people you consider family or friends. Don't let them fool you, right or wrong. And if you get fooled by this shit, you too will come back. I mean, everybody get shit. If I was to indulge in this shit, I would come right back too. Like, I'm not off the hook either. That's why I don't engage in stupidity. Now, I do dabble in video games and whatnot, but you're not going to catch me just watching a sporting event out of my own want. No, like I'll have to be in like a setting of my family environment, for example, just to not be isolated from them. So I'll sit there and accept their blind approval for sports on a television screen. You must show them. I'm doing it right now, Gematria. We doing it. There's much confusion, and that's the problem. Why, if our God is all loving, why do we have to go through confusion just to make it in life? What does that do? But then again, though, we agreed to doing that. You are the coder and avatar, right or wrong? Skull and Bone Society. I don't even have to really keep going with this video. Is this not accurate in a different number in Gematria? The magical Masonic alphabet code. Who is Jake Paul? 151, 906, 302, 151, 61, 70. They deceive us. Astrological cabal. So if you believe in zodiac signs, these beings know your destiny chart. They know your script even before you're put into a physical vessel. Like they're the reason why they're controlling what you're gonna go through on certain days, certain moon cycles, certain sun cycles, certain seasons, certain months, certain days, certain times, a second. Smart Baphomet, right or wrong. I mean, to post yourself getting knocked out as your profile picture, yeah, the humiliation will bring you more money. Like meat riding will bring you more money because these people cannot sit with themselves spiritually. That's exactly why there is no ascension for them. Media vulture, attention seeking, basically, all based on envy. This is true. The system hates not only just both of them, but it hates the person that's watching it. But wait a minute. There's something changing in the numbers or the statistics of the people who are watching this on the media. Oh, we can get paid for this. And then they're broadcasting it on a not social media platform, but on a media platform. So it's like, okay, that's more money for us. Why would they not do that? Their envy brings them more greed as far as financially. They're going to keep doing it. Sigil, Lucifer. So we already talked about that. And the thing is, if you're blind to it, just go ahead and blame that. Want to blame the origins? Some see Lucifer's sigil as a sigil made up of different alchemical symbols put together to make the sigil of Lucifer. And Lucifer's sigil, the alchemical symbols of distillation, coagulation, and alchemical matrimony. The V at the bottom can be interpreted as representing Venus, a planet associated with the name Lucifer by the Romans, signifies power and sovereignty. The two V shapes resemble a chalice, a vessel of illumination, which can symbolize creation and potential for new beginnings and the fertile darkness of possibilities. And then pointing downwards, a reversal of divine authority, marking Lucifer's fall of rebellion. And that's exactly why we see what we see right now. We fell from consciousness and then we confused ourselves. That's why the game is finding yourself again, to go back on the path back home. It is scripted, drugs and masks. Many people in that community were drugged up and just wearing masks of what different bosses or representatives or different political figures are supposed to be. Constant lies, yep. Gatekeeper of hell, meaning that many people in the boxing industry will have to get through Jake Paul to gain more followers, gain more attention, gain more engagement. Saying hexagram. Nothing but a spell casting for the ego. So it's an ego spell on itself. Forces web video. And the thing is, I mean, to plaster your face on the web forever, I mean, would you not die a legend? Expectations. You know, if you don't do this, things are going to happen either way it goes. So who's going to do what? What choice will be made? Sisterhoods. Orlando Brown did make a comment on Jake Paul as well. And I kid you not, you can go ahead and YouTube it. YouTube Orlando Brown, Jake Paul, and I guarantee you come back to this video. I told you so. Masonic Theater. You consent. We already mentioned that. Transcend gender. When you transcend gender, you'll understand that these people are not meant to be idolized. That's why they have the most followers. Comedic script. Going back to the past once again. I only gotta I don't gotta keep repeating a lot of this shit. Secret Service, Satanic Jesuit, so much money, right or wrong. You lose, you still get paid. You win, you still get paid. So who is losing when it's just you losing your soul? Friends of Satan, corrupt idol. Anthony Joshua, deprogram the Freemasons. That means stop giving them your attention, stop giving them your energy. You lied and my friends died. How did Gematria know this? But then too, did they really die? Because what is death? If death it does not know that it's going to die, how can death prepare for what it never was going to face? Holographic simulation. None of this shit is real. These are all the things that people dream about doing, so of course they came true within actors. She really doesn't know. If she was to react to this video or one of her followers or whoever, if she does know, then she wouldn't comment on this shit because she'd be breaking the oath. If she doesn't know, who knows what she would do? Tolerating evil is evil, right or wrong. So if you tolerate this shit, you have some evil within you. Now, if you're conscious about your evil and you're not harming others, is it really evil when you're meant to live in evil? Breaking through the veil. I mean, that's simply put, integration and duality, human experimentation. Clearly, many people who are obsessed are possessed mentally. He took possession of subconscious minds. Be aggressive, be aggressive. Because of course, when you push aggression, then they can now enable assault. Control population is accurate, but you wear a disguise. Know that it is fiction. The daughters and the brides. These people are married to the money. So who really is a bottom bitch? Most truths are evil. That's why people aren't ready to face the truth, because if they did, they would see how evil they've been and they would be embarrassed. Maybe. Satanic bloodlines hidden code. And the codes that are hidden are all within gematria. Do numerology, do letterology, study the simulation. It's there for you. Some sacrifice had to be made. Some sacrifice, my bad, y'all. It is 11:58. I mean, yeah, but some sacrifices had to be made. Why? All because you want attention to be a famous boxer, exposing dumb deceivers, insert and run program. So did she really win? Did Anthony Joshua really win that fight when she's inserting and running a program that was installed into what she was going to follow regardless? All truth must be findable. You can find the truth. They got to put it there, but is that really truth when it's just built off of lies? Where's your dignity? They have none. Undo the programming code. This goes to you. Vatican inventor of hell. Lizards in government. Lizards that are being controlled under their own hypnosis. Lastly, who is Jake Paul? Idolatry defined. Roman dictator, Jesuits, Skull and Bones, Community 300, Society of Jesus, DNA operations, co-logical science, right or wrong. And thing is with allegiance and inversion, when you use logic within science, you'll see how these operations within the DNA are recorded to murder beings within gender to remain blind by what the CIA is targeting outside of skin color. Because they're so infatuated with what's going on. This is why also too, I want y'all to know if you are inverted, these people are so sick. This is exactly why if you've been sexually assaulted, there's a reason for that. These people get off on that. And the thing is, they're giving you a God to come and save you from the lust that they can't control. That's exactly why we gotta expose Luciferians, bro. That's disgusting. You can't control your lust to where now you're touching on children. And you're gonna say in the name of Jesus, like, I am forgiven. You're disgusting. You're weird. It's humiliating. Trolls December. Did this shit not happen in December and people still fell for the bait? Transgender God. She is a man-made construct from a God body. So therefore, she is still a mimicry of what God is without a body. Crime suspect. They're letting you know who did the crime and who gonna stop her when she's protected by the actual killers, the tears, because the weeds don't do this shit. But the tears, yeah, Baphomet forms, right or wrong. They are human, they live. Hybrid humanoid. So Motive B, this is basically a Freemasonic line. And this is actually accurate. And I'm speaking from experience, not in Freemasonry, but experiencing what they have taught me when I left, ended up leaving. I remember this vividly. They do end up saying this shit. Constant denial, matrix agents. And the thing is, too, if these beings were able to sit with me right now, they would deny all this shit, but they would see the accuracy. So how can you deny it when it's right in front of your face? This is exactly why they're agents. Lie inversion. So they can't deny this shit. If they were to lie, they would still be inversions. They would be in inversions. Illuminati male. So a blind light bearer that is pretending to be a male. She's wearing a mask. Draconian origin, and we all have draconian origins, but hers you're seeing on the screen. Deceived innocent. Decode Twitter. Genetics is key. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, this video was so easy. I really appreciate making this video, honestly. Star David, unicursal hexagram. The symbolisms for more Luciferianism. And it's like Star David. Or like hexagrams and whatnot, but even the star too on the Baphomet. So either way it goes, all these things are alchemy, and then these triangles crossing are the masculine and feminine. And so by them inverting it, that's exactly why they perverted the simulation because they get off on us being born and doing better than them. And for them to instill that trauma, they have to traffic us before we even realize that we're being trafficked. That's exactly why if you still indulge in Luciferianism, then you are going to come right back into the games that they constantly play with your mind without being seen. If you are getting defeated by beings that you can't even see, imagine when you see yourself. And if you can't win against yourself, something's not right in your mind or the love you should have for your mindset that does not belong to you, but your character flaw. So how will you ascend in an identification that does not belong to you, nor these beings? What is reality when reality was taught to you? You transcend reality, so how the hell can you think as if these people exist in front of your eyes when your eyes lie to you daily? Have a great and successful night, Divine Reflections.